Welcome to New Zealand Travel News, the segment where we go over the news that people looking to travel to or around New Zealand may care about. We are the team behind New Zealand's largest travel guide, NZPocketGuide.com. Sorry about that. I am Robin and this is Laura.
All right, let's start off with some quick news about the Olympic Games. So in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, New Zealand has 7 gold medals, 6 silver medals and 7 bronze. And then next quick news is about the vaccination rollout in New Zealand and where we're currently at. So the COVID-19 vaccination rate is currently at 15.7% of the population being fully vaccinated.
So that's about 795,000 people in New Zealand. So the percentage rate is slightly higher than that. There is different conflicting news about so it's conflicting data about that, depending on the sources. But 795,000 people are fully vaccinated. So that's a good news for all. Okay, let's move on to the bigger news. We're going from the least important, kind of like the more important. So we will wrap up with the biggest one.
And stay tuned till the end. So we have something from the NZ Herald, published on the 2nd of August 2021, and it is titled COVID-19 Coronavirus. PM Jacinda Ardern says decisions coming on stalled residency applications. So, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has signalled the stalled residency application queue is next on its to-do list with decisions in short order. Due to COVID's impact on the Immigration Office, the government suspended expressions of interest, the EOI's, selections for selected migrant categories in 2020. This has seen flocks of professionals, many of those on the country's skill shortage list, being forced to leave the country with them and their families' futures up in the air. Last week, the Herald reported Otaki GP Dr. Harding Richard, originally from Wales, departed the country for that reason, leaving behind 1,354 patients registered to him. Immigration Minister Chris Farfoy received advice on managing the situation in April, but is yet to make any decision. Ardern said today, after previously announcing automatic extensions for those here on temporary visas, next on the list were those who were here and had put in residency applications. We will have something to say on that in short order, not months, sooner than that.
All right, so in short, there are a lot of people which are waiting for their residency, which have been putting some application, which are in New Zealand. There is a lot of people in limbo right now. And basically, Immigration New Zealand is working on sorting everything out. And once they get a plan, they will actually do an announcement. That's basically just the Prime Minister saying that they are closer, within weeks, we're going to be getting some type of announcement. It's probably going to come after the August 12 announcement regarding the border policy, which we're going to cover that in a minute. Also, there are some RSE workers, which are basically workers which are coming very often from the South Pacific to come and help with farm work in New Zealand, which are going to be allowed in the country, since the South Pacific has been quite, the nations where we get most of the worker from, i.e. Tonga and Samoa and everything, has been quite spared by COVID-19.
Okay.
Moving on to the next news.
Next, we have something from The Guardian, published on the 5th of August 2021, and titled Vaccine Passports Look Inevitable. So what rights do New Zealanders have? So, with greater numbers of people being vaccinated and countries looking to reopen borders safely, the introduction of some form of vaccine passport seems increasingly likely. For New Zealand, where the elimination strategy has been largely successful but which remains vulnerable to border breaches, proof of vaccination may well be a condition of entry. The Health Minister, Chris Hipkins, has said that this would be almost inevitable within the next year. Air New Zealand is one of a number of airlines already trialling the IATA Travel Pass initiative. In Britain, the Royal Society has warned of the potential of vaccine passports to restrict the freedoms of some individuals or to create a distinction between individuals based on health status. Furthermore, vaccine passports use sensitive personal information, and cyber attacks on health sectors in New Zealand and overseas are a reminder that data security is not always guaranteed. Vaccine passports aren't new. We should remember, however, that the freedom of movement across borders has been routinely regulated throughout history. Modern passports for international travellers have been in use for more than 100 years. Proof of vaccination is nothing new either. Some countries have required certificates for yellow fever vaccination for a number of decades, and the World Health Organization's yellow card vaccination document is familiar to many international travellers. So this article was first published in The Conversation. Claire Breen is the Professor of Law at the University of Waikato in Hamilton.
All right, so that's addressing one of the big elephants in the room. A lot of people start complaining or start asking what vaccine for what COVID-19 vaccine will be authorized for, like traveling to New Zealand. Which one is going to be the one which get the seal of approval? And also, will New Zealand require vaccination for travelers to come to the country? And therefore there's a little bit of debate right here. And we think that this is going to be, or at least for a certain amount of time, a requirement to come to New Zealand to have the vaccine. And it's nothing new. There's so many countries. I mean, Laura and I cover a lot the South Pacific with other travel guides, more than just NZPocketGuide.com. We also run FijiPocketGuide.com, TongaPocketGuide.com, NuePocketGuide.com, and such. And for those countries, sometimes there are some mandatory vaccines to have when coming, or even some strongly recommended vaccines. So it's absolutely nothing new. But we will have to, as humanity, we will have to balance this data issue as well, because data is extremely vulnerable. No matter what people are telling you right now, on how secure everything is, data is extremely vulnerable. We've seen that in New Zealand with the Waikato District of Health being hacked a few months ago, and literally they were held at ransom by hackers because all the data of this health system was basically taken in hostage, and they couldn't operate very well. So yeah, let's just see how things develop, but we obviously do have to keep an eye up for the usage of data and also its security. But moving on to the main news item of the day, which is an impending announcement coming up this week, which is exciting.
Yes, so this is from a source, Justin Giovanetti of The Spin-Off, published on the 3rd of August 2021. So, 3 big questions as Arden prepares to unfurl the roadmap to a post-COVID New Zealand. Mark August 12 in your calendar, because it could be one of the most important discussions the country has this year. What does the end of COVID look like? The big questions around the future of New Zealand's COVID-19 response will take centre stage next Thursday when Jacinda Ardern unveils the advice she's received around reopening the country's border. While the Prime Minister has reiterated over the past year that the quarantine facilities and nearly shut borders won't be with New Zealand forever, Ardern and her ministers have yet to speak in detail about when they might end. At a roundtable in Wellington next week, she plans to show her cards after months of work by a group led by Sir David Skegg. While there's a lot of gazing into the crystal ball, the government and Skegg's work is guided by what's happening overseas, where some countries have shuttered their borders and reopened them in recent months. Here are 3 of the big questions that Ardern and her advisors will need to answer. When will enough of the population be vaccinated to loosen restrictions? When does the country begin to ease travel restrictions for vaccinated travellers? And when does MIQ end? And MIQ is Managed Isolation and Quarantine.
All right, guys. So yes, I'm pretty sure if you are watching this travel news video, it's because you were interested in this piece of news in particular. So yes, on the 12th, which is Thursday, New Zealand time, there will be an announcement. We don't know what time just yet, but there will be an announcement with the recommendation from that expert, and that's very much likely what the New Zealand government will use as its base to decide how to end this whole lockdown and everything like that. So this is going to give us really clear a clear path into how we're going to be reopening the borders, right? So there's going to be multiple paths, and basically our Prime Minister will get to consult with his cabinet and pick which one is the most suitable path for our country. So yeah, we will cover this news in full, because you know that we've been doing some border opening predictions, and I really want to know how wrong we were. I hope to be very wrong. I hope we opened much earlier. I hope I wasn't wrong the other way and we opened much later. But yeah, so we will cover that. To expect videos from us. Mark your calendar, as I say. On Thursday, we will be doing a video. I will cover that in depth. I will have the whole transcript of the meeting and all that. So yeah, exciting times ahead. There may be an end of the tunnel ahead, so that'd be really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so we do like to wrap up this news with a deal that I scout around the internet. I find one and I tell Laura, tell the good people about this good company that has a good deal. So what's the good company of the day?
All right, so in travel deal news, we have Epic Campers are offering up to 20% off their rental rates. They're a small camper van rental company with quality but affordable campers, ideal for couples, a couple of best mates, or solo travelers, and you can pick up their vehicles from Auckland or Christchurch.
There you go. They're actually a good company. We know them, we try them, they're really nice. So here you go. Epic Campers, 20% off. Yeah, check them out. There is a little video playing here if you're watching a replay of that. And yeah, I think their website is epiccampers.co.nz, but you can find them,
With
on
a
the
quick
interweb.
Google search.
Yeah, on the interweb. All right, guys, that wraps up this news segment. Don't forget to like and subscribe to reward all our hard work and stay up to date with all our videos. Plus, check out nzpocketguide.com for thousands of tips, hidden gems, and much more.